Hi, I'm Peter from Coffee Parts, and today we're looking at Tampers. What are they? Tampers and tamping. In simple terms, the art of tamping is really pushing the coffee puck down, compressing it to increase resistance when coffee is being made through the espresso machine. That's just like really simplistic, completely no creative words, basic. Now, looking at the actual tampers, there is so many tampers on the market, so many different sizes, materials, weights, manual, electric. What's the difference between all of them? Which one do you need? If we break it down, firstly, you've got to get the right size tamper for your machine. Generally speaking, most commercial coffee machines run a 58mm tamper. And that's not only commercial, but the higher end home machines. Looking at it these days, although 58mm was the recommended size, many brands, and especially once you go into precision baskets, are going 58.3, 58.4, and even 58.5. Effectively, they're going the maximum size to get the maximum tamp and leave a very small residual around the edge. Obviously, when you go super close to the edge, the measurements really have to be precise, not only on the tamper side, but on the basket. On home coffee machines, they tend to be smaller. So on the entry kind of level machines, you're looking at anywhere from 4951 to even 53-54mm tampers. And I'm generally talking about that kind of Breville range or really under $500 kind of machine. Now, within the size of the tampers, it can be a little bit misleading because you can get a 58mm tamper that actually probably doesn't tamp the full 58mm. And what I mean by that is the edge of the tamper, the radius here makes a difference. The sharper the radius, basically the wider you're going to tamp. But the flip side to that is a very sharp radius can get easily damaged. Now, hopefully you're putting the tampers down neatly, you're not whacking them back into the portafilter like they used to do in the 1980s. But even so, there is a risk of getting them damaged. So I guess it is a little bit of a compromise. You want the best result going right to the edge, or you want a more practical, more usable tamper. When it comes to materials, materials also affect the weight. A common weight and a well-known respected weight is around the 500 grams for a tamper. Once you start going wood or some types of plastic, rubber, etc., you lose a bit of weight and that makes them bottom heavy. So when they're bottom heavy, they kind of run from you a bit compared to when they're equal in weight, they kind of balance out a bit more. Doesn't make too much of a difference in a one case, one use scenario, but when you're doing hundreds of coffees a day, different baristas will have different preferences. Another thing to look at is the ergonomics of the tampers. Some tampers just really feel nicer down on the base of the hand, like the curve here, the rubber here that you get on the Pullman versus another tamper. And when we start getting into more details, some tampers like the Pullman Big Step feature like a bit of a lip in it. Basically they go super wide and then they pop back in. Some tampers do it by having a chamfer earlier down. So basically after you tamp, not to be getting too much suction back and not disrupting the coffee puck. That's kind of like the look of the hand tampers. Then you tend to have two other kind of styles. The puck style where you're kind of pushing it down, and that's adjusted by now not pressure of pushing it down, but by distance. So you got a little Allen key here, you adjust the height and you push these tampers down. To use these tampers, you really need to be having very accurate grinders or pre-weighing every coffee. So you know you've got 20 grams into that basket and that basket is now calibrated to this tamper. Now from a super high volume standpoint or super consistency, the way to go is electronic tampers. These tampers, this is a Slingshot Kilo, but you can get the Park or the Sino Up, whatever it might be. Tamp electronically when you put the portafilter in, bang, the right pressure. The different tampers have different setups, so in this case, on this one you can tamp once, twice or 3 times, but really, it really depends on the brand of tamper. Now going further back in history, Reg Barber was the OG of making tampers, and he made not only flat bases, but convex, concave, C-channel, C-flat, different materials, stainless, aluminium, brass, copper. And there was really different thought processes and different eras, and fashions have changed. But we're starting to find the industry kind of level out at 58.3mm flat tampers with a fairly sharp radius. Passado's case, 58.5, but you're kind of looking at the 58.3, 58.5 flat stainless It's kind of the industry standard now. To add to that slightly, at the end of the day, the result comes from the coffee bean, the grinding, tamping, etc. Tamping is only one part of the process, but it does make a difference. So basically, the options are huge, the colors are even bigger, the materials are huge, but realistically, once you know kind of the size you need, the kind of level you want to be at and the price point, it's not that hard. If you've got any questions on these tampers or tamping in general, hit us up in the comments below and we'll get back to you guys. Thanks again for watching. I'm Pedro from Coffee Parts.